Ladies and gentlemen, for one, you need to quit your job, and I'm going to tell you why. For two, you're listening to the Alternative Route podcast. This is a brand new motivational podcast, and I'm going to be honest, I have spent the last 2 days recording these episodes 500 million times and editing them, and I very highly underestimated it. So today, I'm just going to give you the very raw, authentic version of what it is you guys need to take away from this episode. Firstly, it is currently midnight. This is my third or fourth time filming this podcast. I'm sitting here in my pajamas. The first few times I did it, I was dolled up with hair and makeup and whatever, and at this point I don't care. I just need to give you guys the message. You need to quit your job. Because 98% of people will make it to their deathbed without having ever even attempted to pursue their dreams. That is a very sad reality that we live in. I'm very passionately anti do what society tells you to do. So I'm going to give you an alternative route instead, so that you can follow your dreams and so that you don't become one of the 98% of freaking people that don't. First of all, society teaches you from a very young age that you need to go to school, you need to do good. They make you feel like if you don't do good in school, you're not going to succeed in life. That is false. Not everybody learns the same way. Then you've got to go to college, fresh out of high school with absolutely no life experience. You have to go to college, you have to pick a career that you're going to do for the rest of your life. You spend thousands of freaking dollars on said education. You take on tons of debt without having ever even learned what a loan was or how it might impact your future, and then you get stuck with a shitty 9-to-5 job that you absolutely hate. I was one of those people. I found my way out of it. We'll get into that in a minute. But it just sucks. Like, who wants to do that? Who decided that was going to be a good idea? The most important thing that I can tell you is to stop listening to people who have not accomplished the dreams and the goals that you are trying to accomplish. Okay, your mom loves you very much and she had very good intentions when she told you to get that college education and to go to school to be a doctor. But maybe you don't want to do that. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to be taking advice from other entrepreneurs. If you want to be a rock star one day, go on YouTube, look up interviews of, your favorite bands and watch their journey. Listen to them talk about how they struggled. See what they did, at the beginning of their career and sort of how things unfolded. Take advice from people who have done those things, because that's how you're going to learn. I don't know about you guys, but my college education really didn't teach me crap. They had me taking freaking electives. I was forced to pick an elective, so I chose Harry Potter because that's something that I was interested in. I don't even want to know how many freaking thousands of dollars I spent taking 3 years of Harry Potter classes just because the system told me that's what I had to do. For some people, college is great. For some career paths, you need a college education, but you don't need them for all of them. Do not feel pressured to go to college just because your mom and dad told you have to. College isn't always the answer. In my opinion, it's not even a great investment in the year of 2024, but we're not going to get into that today. What we are going to do is get into how you can get yourself out of the shitty 9-to-5 cycle that you've unfortunately been stuck in. Most of us work a normal 9-to-5 job. You go there 8 hours a day. That's 8 hours away from your kids, 8 hours away from your husband or your wife or your partner or whatever, just to make somebody else millions of dollars a year. You then have to take on debt in order to be able to afford vacation or time off. And to top it all off, you have to pay somebody thousands of dollars every year to watch your kids and spend time with your kids. That's time that you miss out on so that you can go work a shitty job that you hate. Stop doing that. Stop. From now on, this is what you're going to do instead. Number one, you're going to scare yourself, okay? You have to do things to get out of your comfort zone. Number two, you're going to stop listening to people who haven't done what you want to do. Number three, you're going to do research. Every freaking person on this planet owns a cell phone. If you don't own a cell phone, borrow one. They're like literally little handheld computers that you can hold literally in your hand. Also, probably 90% of the population, if not more, has internet. And if you can't afford internet or you don't have internet for whatever reason, guess what? The coffee shop down the street has it for free. Go use it. You need to sit in that cafe and you need to do research on whatever it is you want to do. Maybe you want to grow up to be a florist. Maybe you want to do gardening for a living. Literally Google gardening careers, or, maybe if you don't want to like own your own flower shop, you could literally become a content creator and get paid to garden, just making videos of yourself in the garden. You don't have to do TikTok dances. You don't have to sing and be, ridiculous. Literally just, if you put yourself on the internet and you show them your raw, authentic, passionate self, if you are excited about something, eventually you will grow an audience that becomes excited for you. I think excitement is contagious. Positivity is contagious. We all need more of that in our lives. Just put yourself into the world as a genuine, honest human being. And if you do it with something you're excited about, you're just putting positivity into the world. People will want to follow that. One of my favorite accounts that I follow on TikTok, it's this lady named Mary. I'm very sorry, Mary, I don't remember what country you're from, but she's not from the United States. And she's been trying to teach herself English, and every single one of her videos starts with, "Hi, my name is Mary. I'm trying to learn English," and she gets so excited over like learning little words, or like if she pronounces a word correctly that she's been having a hard time with. In one of her videos, she was like over the moon because she took her kids to a like a hair salon or a barber shop, and she was able to communicate with them of like which haircut she wanted her son to have, and her excitement just like radiated into the universe. Like, the world needs more of that. She has thousands and thousands of followers, and I'm sure TikTok is paying her really good freaking money to learn English, just because she's excited about it. Like, making money in the year of 2024 is that easy. You no longer have to work those shitty 9 to 5s. People are just afraid to, number one, they're afraid to quit, which I'll talk about in a minute. And number two, they're afraid to try something different. So let's talk about that. Why are you afraid to quit your job? Number one, most people are afraid of failure. What if you quit your job to maybe start your own business and it doesn't succeed? People are afraid of failure. Number two, people are afraid of judgment. Unfortunately, to be successful, you do have to put yourself out into the universe. If you want to make money gardening, you're going to have to show other people you're gardening. What I have to say to that is, who the F gives a crap about what the nosy freaking neighbor Nancy next door thinks whenever she sees you making TikTok videos in your garden? Who cares about Nancy? Second of all, in terms of being afraid to fail, if you do not fail 500 million times doing something that you absolutely love, then you're not aiming high enough. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my failures, and I'm hoping that you will take my advice as somebody that has done the scary things that I'm telling you to do, okay? Like I said at the beginning of this video, my name is Cheyenne, and if you've never seen me before on the internet, I own a clothing brand. It's called Kidsandkreatures Clothing Company. I make alternative clothes for kids, or like goth-ish clothes for kids, and the reason I started doing that was because I was working a shitty job that I hated. I wasn't happy. I was spending, 8 hours a day or more away from my kids. I was paying somebody else to raise them, and it really freaking sucked. So I started brainstorming about what I could maybe do to get myself out of that cycle. And what I came up with was an idea. As an alternative mom or as a spooky mom, I was unable to find clothes that I thought were cute for my kids. And whenever I did find them, unfortunately, they were too expensive or they were not age appropriate. I'm not going to spend $30 on a shirt just because it has a skull on it when I know that my kids are going to have, popsicle dumped all over it by noon. That was a problem that I felt like I could fix. And so I took that idea and I ran with it because I didn't want to work the shitty 9 to 5 anymore. With that being said, I had to do a lot of scary things and I had to take a crap ton of risk. I didn't immediately quit my job whenever I decided I'm not happy here anymore. In fact, I did the opposite of that. Instead, I went to my boss and I said, I love this company so much. I want a raise. I want a promotion. I want to grow with this company because I knew that in order to quit my job, I needed more money. At the time, we were living in like a more expensive area, I guess you could say. And I knew that leaving my job financially was not really setting my family up for success. It was setting us up for financial failure. Like I said, I'm a mom. I have kids to worry about, and as I'm sure most of you guys can relate, you can't just quit your job with no game plan. That's very unrealistic. We have bills to pay. We have food that needs to be paid for. You know what I mean? So I stayed there for another year and I worked as hard as I could to get as much money as I could. I set as much money as I could aside. And whenever I had enough money to finally quit, I was able to leave that job. I had just enough money to do a tiny little startup fund. And in addition to that, like I said, we were living in a very not a super expensive area, but more expensive than we would be able to afford on a single income. And so my husband and I made the decision to move our family to the other side of the state where there was a lower cost of living. And in doing that, we were setting ourselves up for success. Number one, I was going to have a shot at my dream for the first time in my life. And number two, even if I failed, even if it didn't work out, we were gonna be okay because I decided to move our family to an area that we would be able to afford, even if I failed. And if you're able to do that, or if you're able to ensure financial stability in some way, if you fail, I highly recommend it. Because like I said earlier in the video, you are going to fail 500 million times. My business didn't start becoming financially stable, I guess, or like funds directly to me weren't available until 2 years into my business being launched. And so have a game plan. Something else that I would like to talk about is maybe so let's say whatever your dream is, whether it's gardening, maybe it's fishing, maybe you want to be a musician, maybe you want to start a business, whatever it is, you can actually start those things today just by posting on social media. Most people don't know this about me, but whenever I first started my business, some of the very first steps that I took was I went ahead and I set up social media accounts. And before I ever had a single product made, I went on my iPad and I drew like mock-up images of what I thought my products would look like. And I posted those on Instagram. And just by doing that, I gained a little bit of attention. And there was actually a band that reached out to me. It's a band called Nailbite, and they're actually going to be interviewed on our next episode. They are incredibly inspiring. I'll maybe talk more about them later. But they were the first people that ever reached out to me and sort of believed in me. They saw my products and they said, hey, we have a little brother, and we really like your clothes. We think this is a good idea. And for me, I actually really looked up to them. I knew they were kind of starting maybe a little bit before I did. They weren't super huge at the time, but just knowing that somebody believed in me really gave me that courage and motivation to try, because 99% of the people that I talked to, whenever I told them, hey, I have this great idea and I want to start a business, everybody told me I was going to fail. Literally everybody and their freaking mom said that I was going to fail. So that takes me back to the beginning of this episode. Do not listen to people. Follow your gut. And if they haven't done what you want to do, don't freaking listen to them. Now, Bethany from TikTok reached out to me and she wanted me to answer this question in this episode, for her and for anybody listening. She wanted to know how to take the first steps in starting a business. How do you get started? I feel like I've already kind of answered this at the beginning of the video, but the most important thing you can do is research. You can never start doing research too early. You can never do enough research. I went to college once upon a time and it didn't work out. I decided to go to college for something that my family wanted me to go to college for. Like a lot of other people, I wanted my parents to be proud. I didn't want to disappoint anybody. And fresh out of high school as a young kid, you really don't know what you want to do with your life because you don't have any experience, outside of the four walls of a classroom that you've known for the last 18 years. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, so I was going to school for nursing, and whenever that didn't work out, I dropped out and I started doing something that I liked, which was retail. That's still currently what I do today. Like I said, I run an e-commerce store, but the point of me saying all of this is that YouTube is your best friend. I did not go to college for business. I didn't. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. I went to school for nursing. That nursing degree, it didn't teach me anything about anything that I'm doing. YouTube has taught me literally every single thing that I know. If I have a question about, how to get started or how to, register my business online or whatever, go on YouTube and just start typing things in. I have learned more on YouTube in the 12 years of my adult life than I ever did in any single college. Use the internet to your advantage. Do the research. The other thing that I'll say, Bethany, is that you should, whatever it is that you pick, whatever it is that you decide to go into business for, make sure it's something that you're passionate about. I would wait for a passion to come to you, because if you decide I want to start a business, but you don't already have something you're super passionate about, you just want to have a business to have a business, it's probably not going to be successful. I work more now than I ever have in my whole entire life. Like I said, it is currently, I don't know, almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sitting here talking to a camera in an empty room by my freaking self. Like, I work more than I ever have in my life. And if you are not genuinely passionate about whatever it is that you're doing, you're not going to want to put in the work. You're not going to love what you're doing, and all of this will have been pointless. Another great thing that you can do is just talk to people. Do the scary things. You have to get out of your comfort zone. I would network with as many people as you possibly can, especially if they have done something similar to what you want to do. One thing that I did that's helped me tremendously, and it's actually literally the reason I'm sitting here today, there's a company called Blackcraft. They're probably one of the biggest goth companies in the US, and I'm very honored now to get to call them my friends. But whenever I first started, I knew that, okay, they're a large, successful alternative brand, and one day that's what I want to be. I don't want to be exactly like them. We're two completely different businesses, but overall, they are a very large company that has had success within the alternative space, and that's what I wanted to do. So the first thing that I started doing is I followed all of their podcasts. I went on YouTube and I looked up every single episode, and over time, I got to know some of their employees. Like I said, now I'm very good friends with most of them. and they have helped me tremendously. Their owner, he's a great guy. His name is Bobby Shabinsky. He has inspired me beyond belief. He's given me amazing advice. He shared so much wisdom and knowledge with me. He's actually the one that asked if I'd be willing to start a podcast episode or, a podcast for the Blackcraft network. Thank you guys so much for having me on your network. Hopefully you don't hate me. I'm sorry I was unprepared. This time it'll get better. But, you have to scare yourself. I've never done a freaking podcast episode a day in my life, but watching that company and taking their advice is what led me to this point. I'm sitting here today scaring the shit out of myself. I don't know how to edit these videos, which is why you're getting this raw, hardly edited piece of crap. I'm so sorry. You know what I mean, though? Just listen to people who know what they're talking about. Stop listening to your parents just because you love them. If they've never owned a flower shop and that's what you want to do, don't listen to them. And finally, maybe when you asked that question, you were referring to like the legal side of things. If that's the case, I'm super sorry that I went off on that crazy tangent. But registering your business legally is like the easiest part of setting up a business. Like I said earlier, just go on YouTube. I don't know what state you're in, Bethany, but just type in, like, for example, I'm in Michigan. I think I literally went on YouTube and I typed in how to register a business in Michigan. And each government website actually has like video tutorials, both on YouTube and on their direct websites. That's the easy part. Now, Bethany, I really hope that answered your question. Really quickly, I would like to go ahead and thank today's sponsor of this video, my good friends over at Concept Cafe. I'm not just saying they're my good friends; they really genuinely are. I'm actually currently doing a collaboration with them. You've maybe seen me post about it online. We recently did a coffee together. I'll show you that in a minute. And guys, I know you're watching this. I'm so incredibly sorry. I tried to read your script on my pre-recorded thing 500 million times. I kept messing it up. There were too many big words. So the audience is getting the raw, authentic opinion that I have of you guys. I'm sorry. Concept Cafe is not at all a cliche type coffee. They have absolutely disrupted the coffee industry. They mix like artistic creativity with their specialty blends that they create by scratch, and they deliver it to us, the alternative subculture, in the most like fun, creative, artistic forms. For example, this is... Look at how cute this is. I don't know if you guys can see this. We recently did, Kidsandkreatures recently did a collaboration with them to create this spooky coffee. It tastes like chocolate, caramel, and brown sugar. We went ahead and created that because I'm like I said, a spooky person. I like to keep a spooky theme. I love Halloween, so we tried to give it like a sweet sort of Halloween blend. But this is an example of like products that they create. They've worked with big bands like, Cannibal Corpse. Like I said, they've worked with me. They are absolutely for supporting the bands and supporting the brands, which is super beneficial to both us and you guys as the consumer because our coffee's freaking good. In 2024, I know they are getting ready to drop a bunch of brand new coffees for you guys, which I'm super excited to try. This one obviously so far has been my favorite, not just because it has my name on it. It really does taste good. But they're awesome. They work with, horror and tattoo legends and metal titans and all kinds of coolness. So definitely check them out. They have a website, conceptcafes.com. I'll go ahead and put it on the screen here for you guys. Subscribe to their newsletter. Keep an eye on what they're doing because they do some pretty cool stuff. And I will add very quickly, I know I've already showed you this 10 times, but if you I just dropped something. If you happen to get this, 100% of my personal proceeds are being donated to Kids in Need this holiday season. I'm so excited to participate in like my first ever toy drive. I'm taking all of this money that I earn from this coffee and I'm buying Christmas presents for kids that don't have any. Unfortunately, I used to be one of those kids. I know what it's like to struggle. Like I said, when I first started my business, that first couple of years was rough, man. Supporting a family of 4 on pretty much a single income. It was not easy. So as somebody that understands the struggle, I want to give back. That's what we're doing, and I'm so thankful that they allowed me to be included in that, you know? Guys, the moral of the story here is I'm not telling you you need to absolutely indefinitely quit your job, but the vast majority of you do, because you probably hate it. You wake up every day, you don't want to go to work, you're not seeing your family enough, you're not happy with your life. Just stop. Don't be one of the 98% of people that end up not following their dreams. In the year of 2024, there's this thing called the internet, and you can make money doing literally anything. I never in 100 million years thought that I would be a content creator. I guess that's what I'm considered now, a content creator. But just, through posting videos online to drive traffic to my e-commerce website, I gained a little bit of a following, and now TikTok pays me to promote my own products and to post videos about my own business. I don't think people realize how easy it is to get paid online. Granted, that account did take me a while to grow. I mean, it took me 3 years. I think as of today, I have like almost 120,000 followers on that one platform. I did not get those followers overnight. It's taken me 3 years of posting to get there. But imagine where you would be 3 years from now. I think so many people say, I've literally heard people say, oh, it must be nice to just be able to, post and get a paycheck and not have to work hard. Yeah, honestly, take it from somebody who's doing it. It is actually very nice. I highly recommend it. You just have to do it. Stop caring what people think. Your mom's gonna see it. Your ex-boyfriend's gonna see it. Your neighbor's gonna see it. Who cares? Just post about things that you're excited about. You can actually go on YouTube today and create a channel where you don't even have to post your face. People will like record out their window like videos of the rain falling, or you can go to the beach and record waves. You can record the trees and the leaves blowing and just like record a 5-minute clip of it, put it on a loop, and then weirdos like me at nighttime will go on YouTube and type in rain sounds to help us sleep, and guess what? You get paid for those views. I don't know who runs the dang rain channel that I follow, but they're making freaking millions, I'm sure, because I watch those videos every single day. Just try, guys. Just try. So what did you take away from this video? Number 1, quit your job because it sucks and you're not happy. Number 2, scare yourself. Get out of your comfort zone. Number 3, find something that you're passionate about. Number 4, stop listening to people who haven't done what the heck you want to do. Number 5, stop being afraid of failure. You are going to fail, and that's a great thing because that's how you're going to learn. You didn't go to college to start a business. The journey is that's what's going to be your education. That's what's going to help you over time. That's what's going to make you grow. Thank you guys so much if you've listened to me blab for this long. I hope that you were able to take something away from this video. On our very next episode, we will actually be talking to the band Nailbite, which I mentioned earlier. They're an awesome metal band based out of Central PA. Like I said, they're very good friends of mine now. And I will say when I first met them, they were literally kids. Like their singer at the time was a 15-year-old girl doing insane metal vocals on some of the biggest like rock and metal stages in the country. They have one of the most inspiring stories that I've heard of. I'm super incredibly honored to have their support. They've probably been my biggest supporter in my entire business journey, and I definitely don't think I would be where I am today without them. And I say that because, like I said, when I first started, they were probably the very first person or people outside of my husband that truly honestly believed in me, and I don't know that I would have kept going without that motivation. Additionally, I will let you know that all of these future episodes are not going to be me sitting here talking. The vast majority of them are going to be interviews. In my few years of this, business journey that I'm on, I've had the incredible honor of meeting some really super inspiring human beings from musicians. I'm now friends with some of like my favorite bands ever, which is so incredibly awesome. I get to go to, big tattoo conventions and sell my products and meet some of the most incredible tattoo artists from literally all over the world. I get to do some really amazing things. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because those people have inspired me so much. And I want to bring them on so that you have a chance to sort of pick their brain. Maybe, I'm, like I said, I own a business. That's what I do. I can tell you a little bit about content creation. I don't have a massive following yet. But I can help in terms of business, but it's always good to have an outside perspective. I don't know everything clearly. I can't tell you really how to start a band. I can't tell you really how to become a tattoo artist because I haven't done any of those things. But I want to sort of bring those people on, so that if you have any of those dreams, you're able to pick their brains and that content is easier for you to find. Like I said, when I first started, I was scouring the internet looking for anything and everything that I could to motivate me or to inspire me. And I want to sort of put all of those things into one location for you guys, which is this podcast. So please stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you so much if you've listened to me for this long, and I'll see you next time. Oh yeah, and whatever you do in life, take the alternative route. Is that a cool catchphrase?